Good afternoon, good Friday. I hope you're all well and tuning in and you've had a good week. So tell me if you're there, if anyone's there, tell me what your week's like this week. How have you been? Has it been really frantic? I think a lot of people I've known, I know their week's been a bit slower this week actually, which is a good thing. Just a bit quieter. Things seem to be calming down a bit with new sort of lockdown rules relaxing. And are you waiting for a holiday? Is it your holiday? Hi Janet. Is it your holiday next week maybe? Taking time for the school holidays? I know I'm going to take a day or two off in the next couple of weeks, I think, to recharge my batteries. So I thought with that in mind, we do a little bit more on the meditation side of things today rather than the nature side. I think we looked at quite a few birds and butterflies and bugs in the last couple of weeks. But I think I'd want to talk a little bit about meditation and a little bit about sit spots. I don't know if anyone's heard of the idea of sit spots before to do with meditation. Has anyone heard of that? I'm not sure. Well, I'm going to tell you a bit about it anyway. And it's something that seems, when you hear about it, it seems quite straightforward. But actually, it's really important. So I'm going to turn this round so that you can see where I am. I'm on one of our sit spots at Belville. So I'm on a bench here that was created at the edge of the garden. So just past there's the cabin there. That's where I am. So there's the bench. I'll sit back down on it. That was created by Brian, one of our volunteers. And it creates one of our, what we call sit spots in Belville. And a sit spot is somewhere that you come and you're able to have a view on nature and have a quiet sort of reflective time sitting and I suppose pondering and meditating hopefully with a bit of a view on nature, because a sit spot can be incredibly calming. Hi Michelle, hi Diane. Yeah, busy week for you, I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, let's take 15 minutes out this lunchtime. So that's what a sit spot is basically is no more than that. And when you sit down on a sit spot, so I don't know if you're in a sit spot at the moment with a bit of a view of nature, it doesn't need to be outside, it can be somewhere with a view of a bit of nature. I mean, it can be even at its most basic level somewhere inside where you've got a view of a plant, you know, if you really can't get out. And it's good to just sit down and have a view on nature and then have a think. Are you able to sit and just get in tune with your own body for 10 minutes? Or is your mind buzzing? Is everyone's mind buzzing, or are you feeling quite calm? Are your feet sitting grounded on the floor? Think about in yourself for a minute. What's going on with you? Are you thinking what the kids are going to have for tea tonight? Are you thinking, money problems? What are you thinking about? And can you try and refocus your thoughts and think a little bit more about what you can see in front of you? Because that's where the meditation comes. It means that you're not in your own head and thinking about whatever's been going on with you, that you're taking just 5 minutes out just to think about what's in front of you, no more, no less. So you've got nowhere else to be that's more important than just sitting down for 5 minutes, and you've got nothing else that you have to do that can't wait for 5 minutes. So and nothing that's happened in the past that's going to affect these 5 minutes. If you can get to that, then that's a form of meditation. So do you want to have a go? So I'm sitting on the bench. I've been doing my normal, hi Tracy. I've been doing my normal sort of breathing at the top of my chest. It's the last day of our food boxes today, so it's been a sort of mixed emotions of a day. So I can feel that, I can feel my shoulders tensing. So just take a time to sort of breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Hi Russell. And just let's see if we can just get ourselves really nice and calm in time for the weekend, so that we can really enjoy our Friday and enjoy our weekend and leave some of those cares of the week behind. So sometimes in terms of breathing, like I said, start with your feet on the floor. Look, there's my feet there. I'll show you. So my feet are on the floor, and I'm going to place them down from heels to toes on the floor, so that you really feel connected with the earth. It's really important. I think there is something to be said with the philosophy that a lot of the problems today are because we've lost connection with ourselves, with the earth. That's why I'm often, when I'm out and about, you'll see on these talks, sort of touching the earth, just to form that connection. Like I said, it may be a bit of tree hugging, but there really is something in it, because I can tell that when I am less grounded and a bit more sort of frenetic and stressed, it's because even my feet are affected, because I'm walking, I'm almost on my tiptoes and not actually connected with the ground. So put your feet on the ground, and then let's look at our breath. Where's our breath? Is it in your chest and your throat, or can you breathe? Just don't force your breath, but can you be aware of your breath sinking deep into your lungs and coming out again? So each breath is sinking into your lungs and dissolving, and then you're coming out again. Hi Dan, oh, I'm glad you're in your sit spot having coffee, looking out to your garden. And birds, that's right, I was talking to somebody. Watching birds can be really important. I was talking to somebody the other day, and their sit spot is looking out onto some bird feeders in their garden, and that's what sort of grounds them. So if somebody else can tell me what your grounding sit spot is, where's your favourite place to go where you can connect a bit with nature? So I'm going to do a few more breaths. So I'm breathing in through my nose and out through my lungs and sort of dissolving. And you know what? It doesn't take much to make you feel really quite a bit better. And I'll show you what the spot is if you want to try there. So I'm looking out on this bench out towards the river, and this little sit spot is available all the time for people to come to. We're not behind fences at Belville, we're really opened. This used to be the site of the church, whose name I can't remember at the moment if anybody knows. That used to be the site of an old church. And we're going down to St Lawrence's Street and over across to the river. So, does that feel better, anybody? Do you feel, have you managed to do that? Are you feeling a slightly calmer on Friday? Because it is Friday and it's great to face the weekend with a bit of optimism and feeling calm. So I'm going to talk a little bit about fruit now, if that's okay. I'm walking. I'm going to talk about some strawberries. So I'm at our strawberry bed, because I would recommend, if you can't think of anything else to grow in your garden, how easy it is to grow a bit of fruit and how it really saves you some money. I mean, you think about how expensive a punnet of strawberries or raspberries are and how cheap it is to grow. And Inverclyde is a fantastic area for fruit growing, actually, because we don't have that the really strong frosts that other places do. It's just brilliant for fruit growing. And it had, in the 18th century, there was a really big fruit growing trade in Inverclyde, particularly plums, out towards Port Glasgow. And if you look at the end of Port Glasgow, there's actually a statue of an apple to represent how important fruit growing was in this area. So we've got the climate, so why don't we sort of make use of it? So let's have a look. This is right at the peak of strawberry growing season. So you can see here the strawberries. Here we are. So we're just looking at those. I mean, that's a beautiful one, isn't it? Really red and ripe. And strawberries are great if they're just eaten straight off the plant. You're welcome to come and strawberry pick here. This resource of these strawberry beds and all of our fruit and veg is a community resource for people to take. So you don't need to ask. Look, I picked one there for me. You can just come and take that anytime. Bring a pot of cream with you and enjoy it with the kids over the summer. Gives us something to do. Strawberries are fantastic. You can try different varieties, which I'll post up later on, for different times of the year. So you can actually get a strawberry crop that runs from, early in the season, so say sort of, early June time, right the way through to August time, if you plan your varieties right. And also the great thing about strawberries, you don't need to grow them from seed. They actually regenerate themselves. And I'm just trying to look for a runner, but I think it's a bit early in the year. So what happens, this is an old runner. So that's an old, what I call a runner. And what I mean by that is it's a strawberry plant making new babies. So what would happen later in the season, after the strawberry plant has fruited, these long sort of strings come out. And at the end of that is a miniature strawberry plant. So basically, if you peg that down into a pot of soil, that's it. That's your job done. You've generated a free strawberry plant. So again, you're welcome to come here and take some runners if you can find any. But at the moment it's all strawberries. Look, some of them look absolutely fantastic. So good varieties are things like Cambridge Favourite's a really good one. What's it called? El Santa's a really good cropper. I can give you some other Scottish ones later on if you want. I'll post up a bit about strawberry growing. So strawberries are fantastic. We've grown these on they don't need a lot of soil. This bed is really, look, it's really shallow, so it hasn't got a lot of soil. They don't like being wet and damp, so in an ideal world, if I had more time, I'd clear more of these leaves away. Some people use hay. We've used a bit of taram here. You can see that. I'm putting my hands on the soil again. Look, you can see that taram there. So that warms up the soil a bit, and it also means that the strawberries don't go mushy because they're on a wet surface. Right. So I'm just going to walk up here just a little bit. And I'm also going to, we talked a bit about fruit in the garden, and last week I told you about the currants that we've got, so we had a look at those, didn't we? So black currants, again, how easy they are to grow. So let's have a look at some herbs. And cooking with herbs is just amazing. They add a new dimension, sort of freshness to dishes, even if it's something that's sort of ready-made, a ready meal. So in this bed, we've got growing lots of different types of mint. So I think this is a pineapple mint. I'm just going to smell some. Yeah. So it's like a sort of furry texture of the leaves, and it's great because something like mint, because it's very sensory, you can feel it and you can smell it, and it means while you're doing that, you're not thinking about whatever it is going around in your head. So there's lots of different types of mint here. There's also, I think this looks like a chocolate mint, so it's got a dark stalk to it there, and again it's different in texture. So if you notice, the pineapple mint is like a furry leaf, and this one it's more like a spearmint. I think it's a chocolate mint because of the stem of it, but this one's a much sort of shinier, different texture. And if I just pick some, rub it in my hand, yeah, I mean it's a different smell entirely, much richer sort of smell to it. So it is fascinating. So bring the kids down and experiment with the different types of mint. Again, mint, it just generates itself. You don't need to grow it from seed. You just dig a little bit of mint up from somebody else's garden, or come to Belville and do it and plant it. I would recommend though, because it is what they call a thug of a plant, it will just take over, as this has taken over this entire bed. So I'd either give it a bed to itself completely, or plant it in a pot inside the ground. So you put the mint planted in a pot and then bury that pot in the ground, and that means that the mint won't escape and take over your garden. So I'm moving on from mint now, and this is rosemary. So this is a Mediterranean plant. It likes the heat, it likes to be baked, and if it likes the place it's in, it has lovely little blue flowers. This rosemary isn't looking as happy as I'd seen it look, so it might need a bit of attention. I think it's sort of outgrown its space, it needs a bit of a prune. But again, look how much rosemary there is. There's all the rosemary you'd ever need, so again, feel free to take some. There's it there. And just rub it in your fingers and smell it. It's got a really powerful smell, and I think it's almost like it helps you breathe. It's almost a bit like menthol, I think. Rosemary, it's a very powerful herb, goes fantastically with lamb. You can make teas with it as well, and you can dry it for use in the winter, because in the winter this will die back a bit. These leaves, the green leaves, won't be there, so sometimes it's good to dry some, you know, just in time for those winter months. Oh, Carol, hi, and thanks very much for joining us. I'm glad you can smell that mint. You'll have to take a walk into the gardens. So these are where I am at the moment. If I just set the scene, I'm at our hexagonal beds. I've moved on from the strawberry beds and my sit spot. These are our hexagonal beds where we grow different things for the community, so you can take them anytime. And I'm happening upon some more broad beans here, which are growing up a teepee, trying to train them. Gets slightly windy, this site, so it's not ideal for growing things that are quite tall. They need a bit of protection because the wind just comes directly from the southwest. But let's open up a broad bean. I love broad beans, again, because they're great for the senses. So here's a mini one. This again, it's the season for broad beans. So here we go. There's a small broad bean there. So, you know, when you're here, feel free, pick a bean, see the padded inside, a little mini sleeping bag, like a little grow bag for the beans. Absolutely fantastic. Again, you know, these sort of vegetables are not so common in the shops, and where you do find they're quite expensive. So again, you know, it's saving money as well as providing growing experience for yourselves. What have we got in here? This looks like a little bit of thyme. This is a really nice plant to grow as well. It behaves itself, it's not really a thug. It's got the most beautiful flowers that the bees love. Look at those pretty pink flowers. It's really useful in casseroles and soups and things like that. This smells like a lemon thyme. So you see some of the leaves have got slightly yellow edges to them, and then when you smell it, it has a lemony smell. It's fascinating really how the same sorts of herbs can have really different smells. And so again, you can dry thyme over the winter, you can freeze it, and it's a great little plant. Even if you've got a little sunny windowsill, you could grow a bit of thyme on it, or sometimes I've grown it in the cracks in paving stones. You know, it really doesn't need, you don't need a lot of an area to be able to grow herbs. So I'm going to end today with a view of these beautiful flowers. So here we've got nasturtiums. Nasturtiums are fantastic flowers. They keep coming year after year. They shed their own seed, and often it will just grow where it lands. You can collect the seed and move it elsewhere, so they're really very economical once you plant it the first time. And these have the most beautiful dark red flowers, sort of burgundy coloured flowers. Some of the flowers can be yellow, like this one here. Others can be an orange colour, a real variety. And you can eat the flowers. You can make the most beautiful salads. The flowers and the leaves, they're very peppery taste, so please do help yourself if you come up to the garden. So I hope you're all feeling well. That's just a little look around some of the herbs and the strawberry beds at Belville, and a little consideration about a sit spot. And I'd love to hear, do put on the end of this post if you manage to find a sit spot. Even a picture of it would be wonderful if you could share it. And have a fantastic weekend, a nice calm peaceful weekend. Take care.